for training, because most of the his teachings are aimed to develop sila, morality, to develop concentration, samadhi, and to develop wisdom. The purpose of all this is to have happiness and peace. So we have to understand the purpose of Buddha's teaching is to promote peace, happiness, and liberation. In order to achieve this goal, one must live a moral life, observing moral discipline and moral precepts. You have been already learning about ethic and morality and the benefits of it. This chapter explains about important training, three important training, which are practical aspects of the Buddha's teaching. In order to progress, you have to establish yourself in the moral foundation. Moral foundation is like the groundwork, preparing the groundwork to start building a very good, very strong building. In Buddhist text, the first training is compared to the groundwork of a farmer. A farmer need to prepare the ground by tilling, by plowing, by clearing all the weeds and unnecessary crowds, unnecessary vegetation, so that the ground is ready to be planted with crops. Only after preparing of the ground, the farmer can proceed planting the seeds. So the training of sila is groundwork, preparing one's bodily action and bhava actions. By practice of the sila, one purify one's own speech and one's own action. Sila is a restraining tool for the body and for the speech. So the role of this sila training is to purify your action, not to purify the mind. Purification of the mind is second process. So sila training is for purification of action. You will be able to live a blameless life. As a result of this, your mind and the mind will be free from bad, guilty feelings and remorseful thoughts. Most people in the world, they live like casually. they do whatever they want. They say whatever they want, regardless of good or bad. Sometimes they commit very serious mistake, very serious action, which can bring then a lot of the regret and remorse, a lot of unhappy thoughts. So the purpose of the moral training is to purify the bodily action and body action and leading to a guilt-free, remorse-free life, a guilt-free, remorse-free mind, so that one's conscience is always clear of guilt and remorse. There's no more troublesome, no more nagging thoughts of regrets and remorse by living a moral life. Not only that, morality can lead to peace and happiness of everyone involved, everyone concerned. If a person is moral as a householder, his wife and her husband and their children and their in-laws and friends will be happy and peaceful. It has a lot of impact, not only on an individual, but also in everybody associated with that individual. So morality is very wonderful, all-purpose training meant for promoting happiness of oneself, meant for promoting peace and happiness of other people as well. Thus, moral training and morality are very conducive. That's why Buddha emphasized on the importance of morality before one start practicing meditation, before one embark on spiritual journey. So we have to understand briefly that moral training is the basic of everything good. The basic of all further progress on spiritual path. Now we can read some passage on this chapter, especially the purpose and benefits of tree training. Now you can read these three training. These three kind of training are important and necessary for both laymen and monastics, for promoting well-being and progress in secular life as well as in religious and spiritual life. Of all three, Sila is the first to start with because it is the basis of all goodness in a person. With fulfillment of Sila, one becomes firmly established in a good moral foundation, leading to purifying one's action and promoting good conduct in daily life. So these are very much simple and easy to understand. Okay, let's go ahead to the next passage. Let's go ahead to next passage. Okay, now Sila. Now B, Samadhi, the training for development of the samadhi is to be applying through the practical application of meditation. Find selecting suitable meditation of one's own choice. But it needs to be done under proper guidance care of a good teacher using a suitable method in a well-balanced manner. Okay, now let me explain this further. The training of the samadhi is a practical action. Is a practically swimming in the pool and practically planting the trees, planting the crops and the seeds of enlightenment, the seeds of awakening, the seeds of liberation. That seed is to be planted in the mind, in our mind. We must try to bring out wholesome and positive mental condition. How we should start this second training? We should start choosing one suitable method of meditation. In this case, easier one is breathing meditation. And other methods are also very simple and easy. But the breathing meditation is more easier because everybody breathes in, breathes out. Every moment, every second. We cannot live without breathing. We just only need to keep the mind on every in-breath and every out-breath we make. Breathing in, we just do it mindfully. Breathing out, we just do it mindfully. This means that be aware of the breathing in, breathing out. Let your spirit stay there. Let your spirit march into every in-breath and out-breath. Just know the sensation, touching sensations of each breath coming in and going out without letting your mind wandering off, without any wandering thoughts arise. This is the beginning training. You have already studied about a 40 subject of meditation. You can choose whatever is easy to practice. For some people, kasina meditation, specific kasina meditations are easy. For some people, breathing meditation. For some people, mindfulness meditation. So it depends on our mental conditions and our basic characteristics. Once we train our mind in practice of meditation, samadhi slowly develops. In the previous section, I have explained about 3 stages of the concentration or samadhi: momentary concentration, more sustained concentration, and access concentration. And then later on, a fully developed concentration, by means of which one is able to remain calm and focused without being distracted and without being disturbed. So samadhi, I have already explained regarding the samadhi. Now the third training in the In the paragraph C, training for the development of panya is to be done depending on the nature of panya one wants to develop. Here I explain a little bit about two kind of panya. Panya and ordinary panya. In this case, ordinary Western and knowledge discovers all wisdom and knowledge in secular level. A deep panya, the second level of the knowledge, wisdom. A deep means a special and extraordinary or advanced. Panya means wisdom. Extraordinary, advanced wisdom is most people in the secular world and secular level don't know what kind of that wisdom is. This wisdom is the ability to see in a very penetrating, very deep way. For example, we see ourselves as solid entity. Our bodies, we assume that our bodies are very stable and very strong. Our mind is also indestructible without change. We want to view our body from the perspective of the solidity, from the perspective of the no change, from the perspective of eternal body. We always assume that we are going to possess this body. This body always remain according to our version, our expectation. We always view our spirit as the same spirit. Since the moment our mother gave birth to us, our body will remain the same. Our mind remain the same. Even though death come and snatch our body by force, we think about eternal life and the eternal heaven, where eternal God is taking care of us in our daily life. We always have such kind of notions, very stubborn notion. We don't want to lose. We don't want to lose our body, our spirit. If someone come and say, "Oh, your body is impermanent. Your spirit is also subject to being subject to arising and passing away," we want to run away from that person. We don't want to accept the talk of such a person because we want something always. We want to hold on to. We want to hold on to our dear life, our dear bodies. So our ordinary wisdom is based on self, eternity, permanence. Extraordinary wisdom, extraordinary knowledge, known as a dipinya, is the highest level of wisdom that one starts seeing things in more analytical way. For example, when we start practicing meditation, especially Kaya-nupassana meditation, body-related mindfulness meditation, we see how the body is composed of the fragile material, the bloods, the flesh, the bones, the sinews, and everything inside. It's just only made of very fragile material. Every moment and every hour, they always undergoing constant process of arising and passing, constant process of degenerating and regenerating process. This degenerating and regenerating process always goes on and on and on without stop, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Even a machine running 24 hours and 7 days a week may malfunction, may stop functioning. Our body always goes on like this. This constant process of arising and passing happens on both levels, physical level and spiritual level. On the physical level, every minute cell, every molecular, smallest unit of the bodily cells are constantly degenerating and being regenerated. But the regenerating process becomes slower and slower when we start reaching about 30 or 40 years of age, and slowly we start seeing weakness of the our flexibilities, and our eyes start getting weaker. If we use our body in many bad ways, like today's some people, they just keep watching LCD screens, they keep flipping their cell phone, they keep their mind constantly agitated by checking the news websites and new postings on the Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Their mind become more restless and more unstable. And as a result of unstable and restless mind, their bodily health condition also slowly deteriorate. So the mind and bodies are interrelated, interdependent. When a person meditates, when he is making a substantial progress in his vipassana meditation, he starts seeing all his mental states are in a conditions of flux, continuously rising and passing, rising and passing, rising and passing. This kind of rising and passing is so fast that there is no measurement method to measure how fast each arising and passing moment lasts. There's no method. He starts seeing this mind constantly rising and passing in a very continuous state of flux. And the things are going ad infinitum continuously. Within a minute, millions of, not moments, millions of the rising and passing arise and pass so quickly. He starts seeing this. And in addition, he also start noticing the bodily condition, all the minute particular state of the body cells are also constantly arising and passing. I would like to explain you some practical experience and meditation, which I have experienced. When I practiced mindfulness meditation about 45 years ago, I see the whole bodies, all the starting with the skins and flesh, they constantly falling down in a very rapid succession of the small grains, sand grains, very fine particle of sands. It's like the pouring from the very leaky baskets. All the sands coming down, and I start seeing this bodily mess, physical mess, which I used to assume as the whole body and the permanent and the strong thing. It's just falling apart, constantly rising and rising and passing. So one starts seeing such kind of and view because of the deep penetrating ability of the inside knowledge. So that's called the deep pinya. This Adipinya is very wonderful. If you develop this Adipinya, you no longer hold anything. Oh, this is a Robert. This is a John. This is a Jenny. This is a Christian, etc. You no longer, you just see it. Oh, this is all the components of the body and mind. And the body and the mind, they are also unstable. They just arise as they are just arising and passing constantly. Everything is being subject to rising and passing. One starts seeing it without being taught by someone. One starts seeing all these phenomena, truthful phenomena, with one's own wisdom and with one's own knowledge. This is how enlightenment happens. This kind of enlightenment is not temporary. It is a very deep-seated awareness, wisdom, which endures and which lasts in one's deepest level of the mind. With, deep, with this deep awareness, deep wisdom, one become liberated. For example, one during one sitting in meditation, one no longer hold on to this is my pain, this is my feeling, this is my body parts have been in this going through this kind of discomfort, etc. Instead, the mind become very stable, and every moment of meditative awareness is also very calm and detached. So he can accept whatever comes up, no longer feeling the pain. Instead, he just aware of it. And the pain no longer affect the mind of that person. So he start enjoying the very wonderful calm and very wonderful serenity of the mind, a very gracious mind. This is what the kind of mind Buddha enlightened saints possess. So Adipinya can lead to development of the part and fruition knowledge, which is called the Maganyana and Flanyana. And thereby one leading to the attainment of the supreme bliss of Nibbana. It's quite interesting. These 3-4 training are like interconnected ladders and steps. One cannot skip. One cannot skip in order to achieve higher. One have to take all these necessary steps. Sometimes there are some people in the retreat. I have seen them, some of them. And some of the meditator, they ask me question. Pani, why we cannot remain ordinary people without observing the precepts during the retreat? Practice of meditation only is more important. They used to ask question. I have to explain them. Moral training is basic. Without it, you want to skip and you want to jump the leader to the top one. No way, you cannot do that because we have to empower our consciousness and our action by going through these 3-4 training. The first training is to purify the body, to purify the speech. And the second training of the samadhi is to purify the mind. But this takes a long time. It's a labor-intensive process. Mental training is a very wonderful. It is like an everyday sport. You have to do everyday sports such as badminton or tennis or whatever exercise you do. If you do regularly, your body become more toned down, more balanced, and free from any tension. Um, in the same way, when you practice meditation, you will slowly develop the ability to pick up your anger, the ability to pick up your distraction and restlessness, the ability to pick up your thoughts And this way, you will be able to kick out any unwholesome thoughts. And this is a long-term training process. So second training is long-term process of training. We cannot expect overnight results, instant result. You can't get instant noodle. You can't get instant noodle. You can't get ready to eat and heat, ready to heat and eat meal package. But you cannot get overnight instant meditation, which will yield instant results. You have to be patient. You have to determine if you are doing the second training. Only when you have determination and perseverance and long-term practice, you will slowly progress on your spiritual path. So the second training is important. At the same time, you need to be patient. If you are patient and disciplined and you are meditation, you will slowly notice the moment you are angry, you will be able to pick up your anger and you will note it down and you will be able to let go instead of being manipulated by anger. This is how spiritual training slowly progress. It's really wonderful to undergo this second training. The third training is actually not necessary. You just only need to learn and read, listen some good Dhamma talk, and read good books, and learn good, wonderful teaching. And you will have some sort of acquiring knowledge. This kind of knowledge is not witness knowledge. It is called acquiring knowledge. Acquiring knowledge in Buddhist is called the Suttamaya Jnana. There are three kinds of knowledge. One is called Chaintamaya. Second is called Suttamaya. The third is called Bhavanamaya. And the first one, Chaintamaya, is the knowledge which you can acquire through the barrier process of acquiring through the reading, listening, studying, or thinking, etc. This kind of knowledge is not stable, not long-lasting. And second, the knowledge is called Suttamaya, the knowledge by listening. This is also not strong enough. Bhavanamaya, the third one is more important. Bhavanamaya, the knowledge which you achieve through practical practice of meditation. This one is more strong and more long-lasting. It never changes. It becomes a permanence. So this is only through this knowledge of Bhavanamaya meditation. We can get liberated. We can get our mind liberated. Otherwise, we cannot get liberated. So, Pinya is the last result. And that's what is written in the third phase of this chapter. The knowledge, the second training to be realized through practical application of meditation over certain periods of time. It's like enjoying the taste of one's hard work. Pinya is the end result, outcome of the first and the second training. It is as a matter of fact, not a training, but an outcome and manifestation, which occurs in the form of spiritual awakening and enlightenment. One can feel and actual experience in one's innermost deepest psyche of the individual consciousness. It is the process of knowing the true nature of all mental and physical phenomena of internal world, external world. Therefore, it can be said as wisdom and knowledge in experiential level, which has an enduring, possibly strong effect on the minds of an enlightened person. When one attains the highest state of such wisdom and knowledge, one's mind and intellect is totally liberated from the bonds and snares of all the mental defilements leading to the end of suffering. So, threefold training, if you need to understand in more detail, you have to uh, read Visuddhi Mega, the part of purification. That book is also good, but uh, you need to take time in order to go deeper into that book because it is a very detailed explanation. But for the busy people like you living a household life, don't bother. You just only need to read some necessary information. Observe the moral precept, at least 5 moral precepts every day, and then keep your mind, your action, your speech calm and pure, and keep your mind calm and pure by practicing meditation, uh, by practicing regularly. This way, you can enjoy life. In today's time, such as a coronavirus lockdown, many people find it very difficult to cope with living in a confined space or one's home because the mind always like to go around like the body itself. The mind always like to go about to the to travel great places without restraint. The best way to train the mind, to restrain it, to keep the best company is to through meditation. If you know how to enjoy your practice of meditation, the mind will slowly find it easy and more relaxed. The mind will no longer be a problem to uh, to to be confined to a certain place, and you will enjoy your life because meditation is a good company, a good medicine. Okay, now let's have a break. Let's have a break for 10 minutes. Class, we are now going to start the last chapter, chapter 16, the Nirvana Supreme Bliss. Before we start studying about the Nirvana, we need to explain the 2 dimensions of the phenomena, 2 dimensions of all the things in the world. Only after you understand these 2 dimensions, you will know what Nibbana means. In Buddhist texts, Buddha mentioned about there are 2 kinds of the nature or 2 kinds of the phenomena. The first one, to use Pali term, is called the Sankhata. In English, the people and the scholar, they trying to translate that word as condition. And the second nature is called asankhata. Asankhata is translated as non-condition. Before I go deeper into that, I would like to explain the meaning of these 2 words from Pali linguistic perspective so that you can grasp a rough and brief meaning. The first term called the Sankata, translated as being conditioned, is a combination of two words, San, Kada. San means well, by a collective cause. Kada means done, something which has been done, which has come into being by a combination of multiple causes. So this is what it means, Sankata. Even though we try, people translate it condition. So something which comes up as a result of multiple factor, multiple cause. This is what Sankata means. In this case, the causes are four. And those four causes are called Kama, Chitta, Udu, Hara. Of these four causes. And the first two are spiritual causes. The second, the third and the fourth cause, the next two causes are physical causes. Now let me explain you in more detail. Out of the two spiritual causes, the first one is called the karma. Karma means karmic energy, which is inherent in the spiritual flow of all living beings. And the second is called the consciousness or the mind or mental energy. So the karmic energy, which is inherent in the spiritual flow, and also the spiritual energy, karmic cause or spiritual cause. These are two spiritual causes, invisible causes. They are not tangible, but they do exist in the universe as an element. And another two causes are physical. They are Udu. Udu means atmospheric conditions, and Aharat, and nutrients. So these are two physical causes. All the living beings and non-living things have they are living cause. For living beings, such as human beings, divine beings, animals, or those with a visible body, they have four causes: karmic cause, spiritual cause, and atmospheric conditions, and nutrients of food. So for living beings, there are four causes. For the non-living being, non-living thing, inanimate objects, there are two causes: atmosphere and necessary nutrients, physical nutrients. On altogether, these are four causes. Anything that is conditioned by these four causes is called the sankata. So all the living beings have the four causes, and non-living beings has two causes. This is called the conditioned things. Now, non-conditioned things, the term asankata. Let me explain this through the grammatical linguistic perspective. A means not. It is a negative particle. Sankata means condition or caused by multiple factors. So it may not caused by multiple factors. What is that? It is something not conditioned. It's beyond the boundary of all those conditioned things. To make it you more understandable, I would like to explain you by using a metaphorical comparison of the space and time. Regarding the space is space, empty space is not conditioned by any cause. So the space is not conditioned. Time, in this case, time may just only exist on conceptual level. Even though we used to refer to as 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, or 9 o'clock, etc., or the year 2020 or the year 2021, etc., it is only reference term which we trying to refer to the current, something current, or something already past, or something which is not coming yet. So the time is also a condition. Once you understand this, regarding these two terms, sankata and asankata, the one which is conditioned by multiple causes and multiple factors, the one which is not conditioned, will be much easier to understand the nature of the nibbana. Everything in the world mostly belongs to the condition process or the condition. Everything is conditioned. Because they are conditioned, they are subject to arising and passing away. Something that is not conditioned is never subject to arising and passing. So once you understand this basic explanation, you will understand the nature of the basic nature of the nibbana. Now let's go ahead with the explanation of the nibbana. Nibbana is a Pali term. It is a combination of three words: needs, birds, and nuts. Ni means out. Ba means to blow, to move on. Na means at. In this case, nibbana means blown out. Blown out or being put out. Like the candle. To use a metaphorical example, we have a candle or we have a lamp. In the process of shining light, the lamp, for example, is based on three causes. First, the wick. There's the wick. There's a burning. That wick is being sink into the oil. So the oil and the wick. And another is the vessel. The vessel, such as the container, a clay container, or some other metal container, where the oil and the wick are located. So the vessel, the container, and the receptacle of the oil, and the wick, all these three causes. And not only that, beside all these three, there is constant supplying of the air, constant supplying of the oxygen. So altogether, these are four causes, a combination of four supporting causes make this lamp continue to burn, giving a bright light. So in this case, the shining light of the lamp is based on multiple factors. The wick and the oil, the receptacle container, and constant supply of the air, fresh air. When one of these four causes is absent, for example, if the wine, there's no more wine in the container, and the light will be put out. The light will be out. If there's no more work, there will be no more light. If the vessel is broken down, then there will be no light. If there is no continuous supplying of fresh air, and the light will be out. Not only that, in case someone come up and trying to blow out, in case a very strong wind comes up and the light will be out. This is just only an explanation of how conditioning things exist based on the supporting factor, multiple causes. The moment one of the causes is absent, then it ceases to function. In the same way, we exist based on multiple factors. Now let me explain practically about ourselves. Our consciousness is just only exist, being based on constant supply of the oxygen and also constant action of the beating of the heart, and also our physical bodily health and our daily supply of the food. It is based on different kind of factor. The body serves as the receptacle container, and all the bodily parts functioning normally, such as the heart and the brain and other important organs, contributes the constant beating of the heart and constant supply of the fresh blood, and also constant breathing through the nose, and also constant food intake, regular food intake, morning, lunchtime, evening time, etc. We take the foods. Our existence is very much dependent on the food, very much dependent on the fresh air, very much dependent on the proper functioning of the body. It is very much dependent on a healthy body, and also dependent on a good atmospheric condition, external conditions. Without them, we will not be alive. The mind is like the electricity. The mind or the spirit or the consciousness is the electricity that comes out, constant churning of the motor and engine. The moment the motor stops, the moment the engine stops, both the dynamo and the engines are very important to generate the electricity. In the same way, the heart's beating, constant beating, is very important to generate the consciousness, active consciousness in this case. The moment the heart stops beating and functioning, that active consciousness no more active. So this clearly points how fragile, how precarious our existence are. In addition to this, we always have continuous occurrence of thoughts, and positive thoughts and negative thoughts, positive mental conditions and negative mental conditions. At the moment of the positive mental condition, we are happy and satisfied. In the moment of the negative mental condition, we suffer. In the same way, when the body becomes out of balance, we start feeling some sort of the pain, some sort of bodily problem. And we also have the bad mental conditions. Based on bad physical condition, bodily condition, the mind is also affected. To make matters more complex, we have to interact with our fellow family members and friends and co-workers and everyday life. If someone did something bad to us, we are angry, we are unhappy, we are irritated and upset. So the mind is going through the constant chain of the pain and pleasure, peace and distraction. This kind of situation goes on and on every day in, day out, day in, day out, non-stop. Sometimes some people, they sniff, they pass out. They don't know. They don't know how to cope with that kind of situation. They just thought the best way out is to terminate their life. That's how human suffering is a constant process in life. Even though we try to get out of that, we try to look for pleasures, joy, and every way we can. Sometimes, well, not sometimes, most of the time, we bump into the suffering. So this is the state of the unliberated mind. Unliberated mind is like a pitiful victim, always going through problems. The liberated mind of the Buddhas and those enlightened saints is like a very wonderful warrior, very wonderful commander-in-chief who can maintain complete command and complete control of his mind and daily affairs of his life. He can accept, he can live through all the bad and good situations very calmly and graciously because he knows how to handle it. He knows how to ride through all those kind of bad storms and bad weathers of life. The mind has achieved unshakable conditions. In Buddhist texts, the mind of enlightened saints is compared to the rocky mountain. The rocky and solid mountain can withstand tornadoes and storm and gale force 180, 200 miles per hour winds. Never been shaken, never been shaken, never can be shaken by anything. In the same way, the mind of the enlightened saints is absolutely calm and absolutely unaffected by those things. Because enlightened saints possess such kind of rocky, mountain-like mental states and very powerful deep wisdom, which is enduring and lasting, which never ever disappear. That's why they can enter into the nirvana state. Ordinary people cannot. Even those who have attained the first and the second stage of enlightenment, they can shed the tears sometimes. They still shed the tears. They still show some sort of the unhappiness the moment they have to go through a happy situation. But they slowly progress. They slowly progress on their spiritual journey because they have already acquired vaccination injection. In this case, spiritual vaccination injection and vaccination jabs, immunity jab is enlightenment. Enlightenment they have achieved. The ability to know that things are not permanent. Things come and go. Everything will pass. Everything just pass and come up and pass. So they have this kind of the deep understanding. So they no longer hold on to anything as permanent because they have this kind of basic immunity jab in their mind through the spiritual awakening. They can cope with it, even though they suffer. In Buddhist texts, the journey of life is compared to the journey full of danger, full of unexpected twists and turns. A prepared traveler, once he is about to embark on a very dangerous journey, he trying to equip himself. He trying to get the necessary provision. He trying to equip himself with the necessary tools and the necessary ammunition so that he can handle all the contingent situation on the journey. Those who never learn the Dhamma, those who never practice meditation in the life, is like an unprepared traveler. Because they are unprepared, their minds are unprepared. The moment they live through a bad situation, such as the loss of job, the loss of the family member, and the loss of their health, or some bad situation, they don't know what to do. They suffer a lot. They become panicked. They panic and shock, and they do wrong things. Prepared traveler on the journey of life, those who, especially those who have prepared their mind, their knowledge spiritually through understanding of the Dhamma, through practice of meditation, they are able to withstand like a very well-trained fire extinguisher, fire crew, because they are well-trained. They don't know how to put out the fire. They know how to handle the fire. They know how to protect and prevent from being burned. They have to have put on their fire retardant clothes. They have to have the necessary tools, equipment to put out the fire. In the same way, those who are prepared in terms of the meditation, in terms of the spiritual training, are like those kind of wonderful fire crewing. They can handle the fire, even though they may have to go through the heat. They may have to experience the heat, but they will not be burned by the fire. Ordinary people are always burned by the fire, are consumed by the fire, because they are not prepared. So, the way to Nibbana is a very wonderful journey. At the same time, it needs a lot of patience and understanding. In order to understand about the Nibbana, I have explained you the two dimensions of all the phenomena. One is condition, the other is being non-conditioned. The Nibbana is not conditioned. It's beyond explanation, beyond expression. In order to understand, I just only quote the Pali text, which is recorded about the early day of the Buddha's enlightenment. Now let's read the passage together. First, let me read it in Bali. Tena Samyena Bodho Bhagawa Uruvelayam Viharati Nija Niranjaya Tire Bodhi Roka Mule Patama Bisambodho Sataham Ekapalinkena Nitsidi Vimoti Sukha Pritsamvedi. These are very inspiring, very wonderfully sacred words of Buddha's enlightenment recorded in the Buddhist text. Now let me translate word by word. Tena at that, Samayena time, at that time, Buddha, the enlightened Buddha, Bhagawa, Bhaga means glory, Wa means the one who has glory. Uruwela Yang, Uruwela is the name of the forest. Yang means at Uruwela forest. So Uruwela Yang at the Uruwela forest. Uru means sun. Wela means discipline. Sun serve as the discipline. What does it mean? The name of that forest on the river bank of the is called the Uruwela. Uru means the sands which are located on the banks of the river. Wela means boundary or discipline. In this case, not boundary, it's an idiomatic expression. The sun used as a discipline. When this name comes up, before Buddha's time, in ancient India, even in today's time, people, they left their household in order to pursue spiritual life. They become rishi. Rishi in English is called hermit. They become rishi hermits after leaving their wives and children because they have already old enough. Monpas already 60 or 50. They have already taken care of their daughters, sons, and their wives, and they have already established in their society as a layman. So in the last part of their life, they just want to remain in the spiritual life, devoting most of their practice to the spiritual development. Usually they choose the hermit's life in the forest. So all the like-minded people, they just went into the forest and they live there. Sometimes, unfortunately, because they are laymen, made of the people, made of the flesh and blood, sometimes they have some sort of the thoughts, lustful thoughts, to enjoy the physical pleasure. And the moment they have this kind of lustful thoughts, they just thought this is unwholesome. And they have to do some sort of the repentant action. As a way of disciplining themselves, they just keep promise among themselves. Okay, we have come and living our household because we want to live a spiritual life. We want to live a spiritual life. We have to observe the moral precept. We must not return to household life, the way of the people. So if anyone have such kind of lustful thoughts arise, he should carry this one handful piece of the sand from the river bank, put here on this place. So they just place the heap of the sand there. It becomes like a small hill, a sand hill. This is like they have repenting action. That's why the forest is called the Uruwela forest, where the sun used as a discipline, self-punishment and self-repentant action by the hermits. So Buddha is living in the forest when he is striving for the enlightenment. Virati means that he lives. Hara lives. Ti means he lives there. Nija means at the river. Niranjaraya, mean the name the Niranjara. Nira means like the blue. Nira means blue. Jara means water, blue water. The water is blue, crystal blue river. Tire means on the bank. Body roka mule. Body means body tree. The banyan tree. Roka tree. Mule means at the foot of the banyan tree. So at one moment, our Gloria Buddha lived in the Uruvela forest and the river bank of the Niranjara, where the water is bluish clear, at the foot of the banyan tree. Now let me explain the next word. Patama Bhi Sambodo. Patama Bhi Sambodo is a compound noun. Patama Abhi Sambodo. Combination of two words. Patama means initially, immediately after. Abhisambodo means having enlightened, having attained the perfect enlightenment. Immediately after attaining perfect enlightenment, our glorious Buddha lived on the river bank where the water is a bluish crystal clear and under the tree or banyan tree. Saddha is also a compound noun. Saddha. Saddha means 7. Han means day. For 7 days continuously. Eka Panlingena, the next word. Eka means one. Panlinga means cross leg sitting. Ina means in or with, by means of in the mode of the one cross leg sitting position. Nisidi means set. Our Lord Buddha sat under the banyan tree in one's cross leg sitting position for continuously 7 days for 1 week. So what is he doing? He just only remains semi-conscious or totally unconscious state. Absolutely no. Was he remaining in absent-minded state? No. He's not in coma. He's not in absent-minded condition. He's just remaining in a very alert state. Vimoti sukha pati samvedi. This is very important. The last Pali word. Vimoti sukha pati samvedi. Vimoti means liberation. Sukha means happiness. Pati samvedi, by enjoying the bliss of the liberation. By enjoying the bliss of liberation. In Bali, it is called Vimoti Sukha. Vimoti Sukha is what we call Nibbana. The moment a person enters into that state, the mind, even though the mind is enjoying the peace, all the bodily function cease to function. All the bodily function cease to function. No blood circulation. No blood circulation, no digestive tract function, no body function. Because there are no more body function, there's no more thirst, there's no more hunger, there's no more need to relieve one's bladder and one's bowel. It is a very blissful state. It's quite difficult to explain in the same way, it is difficult to explain the mental state of the unconscious person in the ICU, hospital ICU ward, or the one who got into unconscious state in a very severe physical situation of heavy accident or drowning or drug-induced comatose states. Those comatose states, mental conditions, and those comatose mental conditions are not blissful. And the mind is agitated. I have one friend who just come back from the comatose state. He just mentioned while he is there in the comatose state, he just going through and visiting to his relative, to some places. He saw this and that. He just related his experience when he comes back from his comatose condition. But for the Buddhas and the mind of enlightened is in such a liberated state, it's totally different. It is totally different. So very peaceful, blissful state. To roughly compare, you may have a wonderful sleep in one of your life moment, in one of your moments in your life. You maybe still remember that moment of wonderful sleep, uninterrupted sleep, very calm, very peaceful, very sweet sleep. The moment you wake up out of that, your body is fully re-energized. You feel fresh. Your body become very, very light and very light and very alert and very agile. Agility and mobility is a wonderful. You no longer feel heaviness or discomfort as a result of your uninterrupted sweet sound sleep. You know how wonderful that sleep is, but you don't know how to show it, how to grab it. In the same way, we have a different kind of pleasure in the world today. Bodily pleasure, for example. Bodily pleasure, which people used to enjoy between the married partners. They just know that this pleasure, but this pleasure is very complicated to complicate because adulterated. To understand this, I want to explain you two kind of pleasure, two kind of joy in the world in the next section. Now let's have a break at this moment for 15 minutes. Okay, let's have a break time for. Okay, now let's resume. In order to understand the nature of the happiness of the Nibbana, I would like to share what Buddha has said in Buddhist Ethics. There are two kinds of the happiness. And the first one is called the Sa-upakilesa Sukha. Happiness, but with the attendant follow-up negative conditions. In other words, it is adulterated happiness. It is happiness, but it is mixed with the unnecessary things, unwanted things. Someone never wished. So this is called the adulterated happiness. In Pali, it's called the Sa-upakilesa Sukha. Sa means with. Upakileta thing that cause mental pain, happiness. So the happiness with a mixed uh, conditions. And the second kind of happiness called the nirupakilesa sukha, happiness without any negative follow-up or attentive conditions. This is pure happiness. So the first happiness is ordinary happiness in the world, enjoyed by people and sought by people, all the worldly happiness. They are happiness per se, but they have attendant consequence, unnecessary and unwished for some people. It is always mixed with the unnecessary results. The spiritual happiness of the saints, enjoyed by those enlightened saints, is nirupakilesa. Nirupakilesa sukha, happiness without any mixed results, pure and always bringing you joy, always causing you joy. And the happiness of the Nibbana is like that. And in this case, we can make some comparison with the Vipassana Sukha, the joy of the inside meditation, and Jhana Sukha, the joy of the absorption state. The joy of the inside meditation, inside knowledge, and the joy of the absorption state, they are still shakeable, and they still go through the process of the arising and passing, and the process of the change, and in the happiness of the Nibbana, when a person enter into that state, that peace is very wonderful and strong and lasting. So there are two kinds of happiness. To recap what Buddha said, one is happiness with a mix unnecessary results, unnecessary things. The other is pure happiness. The happiness of the Nibbana is the pure happiness. It is to be achieved and to be experienced, those who have attained to that state. Those who haven't attained that state yet, they will not understand the state, but they can achieve. Now, to make it more understandable, during meditation, I wanted to share some and one important technique said in Buddhist text. This kind of the method when we are practicing meditation is called to empty ourselves. To empty ourselves, it means that to discard the notions, preconceived notion, deeply grounded notion, deeply seated notion, such as I and me and mine. One must remove this notion first in order to be able to practice meditation. When one go through the thoughts and pains, one must know that through this kind of right attitudes, these are just only passing experience, which arise and pass, which No one have control. This is the first attitude of emptying oneself before you practice meditation. The other one is to develop the awareness of the emptiness. I think I have explained you a little bit about that, to develop the awareness of the emptiness. In this case, it seems like shocking for some people because it's like removing one's identity. Actually not. One can use one's identity, one can identify when one's communicating with others, when one is doing necessary reference. But during meditation, we have to bring ourselves up to the higher position of the knowledge of the Dhamma. By having this kind of the emptiness, one will no longer stuck in anything. Even if that's a bad experience, one will be able to easily let go. The benefit is being able to let go of easily, to let go of such bad feeling and mental reaction in terms of the anger or aversion or in terms of attachment. Once you have this kind of the right attitude, you will be able to proceed in your practice. This is very simple and also easy to practice, easy to develop. Once we have this kind of two right attitudes, the meditation will be smooth. You can try this when you are going to bed, when you are about to go in bed and lying down on the bed. You start practicing meditation. You may remember one daily things, and they keep coming back to your mind. You just simply ignore it by noting that this is empty of me and mine, empty of essence. They are just only the mental phenomena, mental states, passing mental states that come and neck you. So you are able to let go all those thoughts easily. Then you are mind enjoying just observing the breath or observing any meditation object very easily. The mind will be absorbed into it, and uh, you will enjoy your peace and happiness of the meditation. So let me continue talking about the two kinds of happiness: saubhagya, adulterated happiness; nirubhagya, unadulterated happiness. The nibbana, the joy of the nibbana is unadulterated. The joy and the peace of the nibbana is unadulterated. The joy and the peace of meditation is unadulterated. But those who can enjoy peace and happiness during progressive stage of meditation is just only preliminary. They are, in Buddhist it's called the Pubbabhaga Nibbana, preliminary experience of the peace and calm meditator can enjoy during the progressive stage of meditation. The real and lasting enduring peace and bliss of nirvana is something which never uh, recedes, which never disappears. That's why Buddha can remain in this wonderful mental state. Anytime he wants, he can enter into that state. Even if he may be teaching, he may be getting involved with the interaction with the audience. For example, when he's going into the city for lunch, or just going to the palace or the layman's house, he may talk only necessary words, not unnecessary things. Most of the time, his mind always inclined toward, always focus on this wonderful dimension of Nibbana, liberated dimension of Nibbana. Just mental peace and calm. So there are two kind of happiness I explain you. Now, next level of happiness called the Samita Sukha and Niramita Sukha. Samita Sukha is it means happiness with a tangible object as its cause, as its base. This is called the Samita Sukha. For example, you are enjoying some wonderful food, or you are enjoying some sort of pleasure, but the object, physical object, is already there, and that happiness is called the Samisa Sukha. In other words, it can be called the material happiness. Happiness based on material or material-based happiness. There is some sort of material in order to be happy, in order to enjoy. This is called the material-based happiness. In Pali, it's called Samisa Sukha. This kind of happiness is not lasting, and it is also lead to despair, and then you have to trying to get it again, trying to get that kind of happiness again and again, because it's a material base. And the second happiness is called the Niramisa Sukha. Happiness, but not material based, not material based happiness. So the Nibbana happiness and the happiness of meditation is not material based. It's not material based, not meta based. Because it's not meta based, there's nothing to grab onto. There's nothing to hold onto. There's nothing to be attached to. And it also has no problem associated with the handling of the material or keeping it, maintaining it, etc. Because it's not meta-based happiness. It is just pure and blissful. So this is called the Niramisa Sukha. There's a wonderful peace and joy only. No, nothing to be attached to. Nothing to cause you anger the moment you lost your grip of your hold of it. The moment you cannot hold onto it, you don't lose a happiness. This happiness is long lasting. So this is what is called the Nibbana happiness. Nibbana happiness is not meta based, not material based. It is a spiritual based happiness and totally calm and totally undisturbed. When Buddha was remaining in the place of the Nibbana for 1 week, all the problems associated with the body, such as the having to eat, having to drink, or having to relieve oneself by going to toilet, or having to get up and stretch oneself in order to relieve tension, is no longer necessary. And the power of the mind, the power of that blissful mental state itself is self-sustaining, self-sustaining, self-fulfilling, self-maintaining. In that state, the nutrient, external nutrient provided by the solid foods can no longer play any role. They are no longer important. The power of the liberated mental state, the Nibbana itself, is sustaining the body. In Buddhist text, it is clearly mentioned about the physical conditions of enlightened is in that wonderful state. In that wonderful state, no external harsh element such as the cold air, the rains, and the winds, the heat cannot affect. And also the snake bites and physical harm caused by the external objects are also effective to the body of the enlightened in that state. So the power of the Dhamma itself is self-protective. That's how the Dhamma is a protective power, has protective power against all those kind of harms and dangers. There's a story about a monk. If you want to read about that monk, you can go to the Visuddhimagga. I think they may have that translation included in translation book. And that monk is remaining in that bliss, spiritual bliss for 1 week, 7 days under the bush. And at that moment, maybe after a few days, the boys come near that place. They are just only grazing the cows in the nearby pasture. So one of the boys saw the monk sitting calmly, motionlessly. So he just got near the monk. He just touched with his hand. He just spoke with his finger. He just pat on the back of the monk. So the monk doesn't show any physical response. So the wine thought the monk is already dead there, but in sitting position. So assuming that the monk is already died, so he got an idea to cremate the monks because he may be a devotee or the son of the Buddhist devotee. He just want to get unmarried. So he just go back to his friends who are working with him to take care of the cows and grazing the cow. So he just informed me, hey, my friend, I saw the monk, a dead monk in the sitting position. He's already dead on the sitting position. Let's cremate. So they collect the dry leaves and twigs, and they just cover up. They just cover up, heaping everything on the top of the body of the monk. They just burn it, and the fire and the heat, that extreme heat, cannot impact the body and the life of that monk. Assuming that they have already cremated the monk and dead monk, and they unmarried, they just left without checking the remains. On the 7th day, the monk just come out of his cessation state. He resumed his normal consciousness. He just shake up his body. He just shake up his robes. The robes are also not impacted by the fire. It's very strange. It's recorded in Buddhist text. From the viewpoint of the modern science and from the viewpoint of nature, it's totally impossible. It's not acceptable. And completely unbelievable. But it is what it has been. Buddha himself remain in that state occasionally. During that state of the 7 days of peace, there's no need to do anything, just only peace, enjoying peace. When they get out of that cessation state, they can resume normal daily activity, but they cannot get up immediately. They have to start slowly. Once the normal consciousness resume, they just open up their eye and they just start moving slowly. And their skin color is mostly radiant with a pinkish color. The face, the cheek, and the forehead, and also their elbows and their shoulder, the skin color is radiant because the blood is pure. The mental states are pure. As a condition, as a result of pure mental states, the bloods also become very pure. As a result of pure blood, the skin complexion also becomes radiant. That is the words mentioned in Buddhist text regarding the nature of the enlightened saint who just come out of that 7 days cessation state. In Buddhist text, it's also mentioned that anyone who perform meritorious deed to that kind of enlightened saint who recently come out of the 7 days cessation will get an enormous amount of the meritorious deed, meritorious power, which can bring immediate result, which can yield immediate results. And if you want to know more about that, you can study in the Dhammapra's commentaries regarding those kind of the enlightened saints who come out of the 7 days cessation state. Anyone who offers the food to that monk, that enlightened saint, get his prayer, his wish fulfilled immediately because of his tremendous amount of meritorious power. So this is what is described regarding the nature of the Nibbana. Nibbana, a spiritual bliss for 7 days, enjoyed by the enlightened saints. Once you understand how wonderful this kind of spiritual bliss is, quite difficult to explain in ordinary way so that an ordinary man can understand. You can have now a brief idea, big idea, how the spiritual bliss is very important and very powerful in maintaining the body by itself during those kind of the 1 week's cessation state of the bliss. Is very different from sleep, is very different from coma or any unconscious state. It is still conscious, but blissful peace without any mental activity. Excuse me. In Buddhist, it is clearly explained during the process of that 1 week spiritual bliss, all the function, normal ordinary function of the body, and all the function of mind-generated active physical condition cease to function. Only in Pali is called the Udduja, Haraja, and Karaja. Karaja means the body, genetic body, caused by the parent genetic seed and genetic condition. This is called the Grajakaya. Uduja means atmospheric bodily condition. Harjakaya, only the body condition supported by nutrition one has eaten before he enter into the that cessation state, maintain his body during that process. Mind-generated physical phenomena are normal. Also, the mental activity, especially active mental activity, are normal. No active mental state, just only awareness, very delicate awareness of peace and bliss remain in that state. It's a little bit tricky to explain because you may not have a Abhidhamma experience, Buddhist psychology. In Buddhist, it only mentions Chaita, Chaitadika, Chaitaja, all those related matters are gone. During that process, only the peace and bliss remain. So this is a characteristic of the basic characteristic of the Nibbana. There are other characteristics of Nibbana explained in Buddhist texts regarding the nature of Nibbana. The first one is called the being unconditioned. Being unconditioned. Being unconditioned is the first characteristic of Nibbana. And the second one is being unrelated to time. Being unrelated to time. So time, not time relative. It's not time relative. It's not time related, and also is not related with any kind of the physical dimension. So these are actually very like a high-tech explanation using the more deep level of the explanation. Actually, they are not suitable for ordinary laymen. One just only need to keep it simplified. I want to keep it simplified. That's why in this chapter, I use a quotation from the Buddhist text, Nebuddha Sutta, Tika Nibbana Anguttara Nikaya text, on the page number 67. Page number 67, Buddha mentioned practical example. For example, a person is really sad. He is burning with the sadness. Then someone come and help him how to observe that sadness and how to let it go. Then he can let go of his sadness. Sadness no longer trouble him. In the same way, anger. When anger arises, anger is very much distracting and disturbing. When a meditator with the necessary mindfulness skill can meditate on the anger, he can overcome it. And once there's no more anger, he feels happy. Then this is the practical Nibbana. That's what Buddha said in this discourse. Practical trouble, current to feel in the mind. Once a person is able to remove them, this is the practical Nibbana. This is a practical state of peace. In Buddha's time, there is a guy who lost his wife, beloved wife. He just continued crying, because his wife passed away in his hand. So he doesn't know what to do. He just go to the Buddha and ask him for help. First, Buddha gave him Dhamma talk. This is the way of the world, the way of the body. It just come up, and it must go. It just arises and it passes. It's the way of all the conditioned things. You just don't hold on to it. Don't hold on to your wife. Don't hold on to the body of the wife. Don't hold on to any concept. This is my wife, now I lost my wife. You don't hold any concept of I and me. You just see how things arise and pass, including one's own body and pipe aggregates. Just see it clearly. The way of nature is not only in your wife, also in your body, also in this body, and this physical being who is teaching you Dhamma talk. And every phenomena, conditioned phenomena, is subject to being arising and passing away. Once you clearly understand this, you will be able to let go. So this is what Buddha said to that gentleman, and he became enlightened. He starts seeing that, he starts having insight knowledge clearly, and he attained enlightenment. So regarding the Nibbana, we have to understand on different level, on practical level, on technical level. On technical level, there are explanations. I will continue explaining on technical level because it is necessary. Otherwise, you will not understand what Nibbana means. Many people are trying to interpret Nibbana from their own perspective, from their own limited view. Some people, they're trying to interpret as nothingness. If there's nothing, why we have to strive for? So nothingness is not complete translation. Some people are trying to interpret as unconditioned or just blown out, just put out, being put out. What about translation? It's just only translation. It's only expression. The actual nature of Nibbana is something which we can experience. But in the process of trying to achieve it, we may have to be patient. There will be stumbling blocks along the way. We must have a more easily relaxed attitudes toward our bodies and toward everything around us and toward life. And this way, we can have a more open and artificially liberated mind, even though we may not attain complete liberation from suffering. We can have this kind of the freedom slowly. In Buddhist texts, the purpose of Buddha's teaching is to attain Ceto Vimukti and Panya Vimukti. Ceto Vimukti means mental liberation, liberating one's own consciousness from constant nagging of the defilement, constant notions of I and me. And the second is called to attain Panya Vimukti, the freedom of the intellect, liberation of intellect. We need to liberate our intellect from attachment, from the snare and from the domain of the attachment and from defilements. Defilements are always in the mind. Sometimes they are very latent in active state. Sometimes they just peek out of their hiding hole and they start being active. For example, our anger. The anger ordinarily is to remain inactive. The moment something bad comes up, which irritates the mind, which upset our notions, which agitate our expectation, then anger arises. Then we must see it. So there are defilements always awaiting us to strike. Inactive defilement, active defilement, both defilements can cause harm. Buddha's teaching guide us to prepare to handle those defilements. The purpose of meditation is to be able to develop necessary skill so that we can handle defilements. In today's afternoon session, I'm going to continue explaining the nature of the Nibbana for the whole day and for tomorrow. Now let's conclude. Let's conclude for the morning session. Let's have a break time for lunch.